Welcome to Impact Wrestling. The plan, that's the name of this video. That's what it's going to be called. Impact has a plan. Now, does it work? Well, let's go through this show and you guys tell me what you think. Opening of the show, Scott had to go to the ring. All the wrestlers, which is the first time in a year, 1 year easily, since we've seen all the male wrestlers literally around the entire ring, because we haven't seen them in so long. Maybe a couple of them, but not everybody. So they all appear, and Scott pretty much says this: look, it was a great match, but we lost. And Rick Swann has no rematch clause because this was unprecedented. It was never thought about, so Rich does not get a rematch. But we are going to have a 6-way match at Under Siege. And we're going to be doing qualifying matches this week and next week. And those who go to Under Siege and the one who wins will become the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship of Impact Wrestling. Okay. He calls in Jake something. Or Jake somebody. Sorry, I always keep getting Jake something or Jake somebody. Jake somebody's called into the ring and he puts him over pretty much saying, you have shown something. That's why you're the first one here. And you're going up against this man. The ultimate smooth criminal. I'm not saying finesse. I'm not against Chris. If you see this, dude, I'm a fan. I love you, man. But I still don't agree that you should be called the finesser. You should be the smooth criminal. Michael Jackson had it right. You can get anything you want as long as you smooth, baby. And you are smooth. And he has his match with Jake and wins the match. Now, mind you, the match wasn't bad. The camera work, and here is the obligatory shots that I have right now. They're not many, under 10, but I'm still doing it. Like I said, if it's 5 shots or below, I'm not putting them up. If it's near 10, you're getting it. And particularly if it's more than 10, I'm going to rant my ass off. But you got near 10 shots. The majority of the time, the show was okay. It merely in one match. And it was with Josh Alexander and with Ace Austin. I'll do that one next. But you now have Chris Bay as the first of the 6-way match. Now, we have, on Twitch, numbers were not that great. Holding around 4,300 and went up to about almost 5,900. Almost. It was at 5,889. It was not close, but it was close. So the numbers on Twitch are not that great. They used to be like over 9,000 or 10 or 14,000 at one point, and they've just been dropping. So Impact, I'm wondering how it is for Access TV. I am hoping it's good numbers on Access. If it's not, who do you blame? Do you still blame AEW for this, or do you blame Impact? Leave a comment below, as you normally do, and I will tell you think carefully about your comment, because saying AEW is still the problem is not the key here. I'm just saying. Now, we had several backstage segments. We had Taylor Wilde being talked to by a Tennille Dashwood, still trying to get a partner. This makes me nervous, guys, honestly. Tennille Dashwood has been looking for a partner for many, 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 many months. And you wonder, will it be one of the Iconics that is going to be her new partner? And you know who I'm talking about. And I'm hoping it's not. Not because I hate her, but because she needs time to really reflect on what's going on with herself. And that is the Billie Kay. But she's trying to get Wilde to join her, and she says no. Now her match with Kimberly. It wasn't a bad match, but Kimberly seemed to be I like Kimberly. Someone told me early that she has great ring work, and she has great potential. And for the most part, she's been okay in the ring. I'm not saying she's the best one. She's not. But she's been okay to good in the ring. But in this match, particularly, she was very, very gentle. It was like she didn't even want to kick Taylor Wilde at all, or even wrestle her most of that match. She was extremely gentle. And I don't know why. Most of her kicks were almost nothing. I don't think she was out of shape. Kimberly looked fine. But it was like she was holding back a lot. And either because Taylor Wilde is still not in great shape yet, or something, I don't know what it is, but it didn't look right. Now, Taylor Wilde did use a Indian Deathlock, modified Indian Deathlock, to win the match, which is fine. It's good to see submission, especially from the women, other than Dana Purrazzo. No problem. Now, we got the match going now to a Josh Alexander versus a Ace Austin. Now, we did not have any interference by Madman Fulton, and I like that. That's very good that he's not interfering with it. That's good. But I gotta say this about the camera work, and I know not everyone likes it. At one point in the camera work, and you've already seen the shots, I couldn't catch this shot. The cameraman was so keen on zooming in like this. Guess what he did? He hit in the head Josh Alexander. You can't tell me that didn't happen, because it did. He literally put the camera so close to the ring and to the ring ropes. Josh's head was sticking out of the ring ropes. He got whacked in the head by the camera. Do you now see what I'm talking about? I don't know what's going on with the cameraman, and I don't know who's running the production truck and the ability to switch from camera to camera, but something is wrong here, guys. And I know there's going to be people who say, come on, guy, you're going too far. Look, that kind of stuff happens. It happens. Yes, it does. But can you honestly tell me 100% that this show has been awful in production? The only thing that's been good in production has been the audio for the commentators. Everything else has been questionable. The lighting has been questionable. The camera work has been questionable. You zoom in on the damn ref's ass most of the time. Why do you do that? You know, as a guy who runs production, doesn't it make sense to make sure you see the full screen and not zoom in on people's asses half the time? Or their heads, or their chests. You're not getting anything in. I'm just saying. Now, Sam from Trey Miguel's camp and Morrissey, W. Morrissey, Big Kaz himself, looking good, and he does talk before the match, and it kind of made me a little nervous because Big Kaz was never known for his mic skills. He's not good in the mic. This is where he really does need a manager, because when it came to Enzo could speak for him very easily. And here he's going to have to work on his own. And when it comes down to it, he made it very clear. There are people in this industry that you can't trust. They're nothing but garbage because they say they're nice, they're sweet and everything, but they stab you in the back. This is what generally he's saying. There's a difference between me and them. They simply don't say it. I'm in your face and I'm saying it now. And he proceeded to destroy this kid wholeheartedly. Brutalized his ass. Now, was it good? Yeah. For a guy of his size, he's supposed to. And Sam isn't a small kid either. He's pretty damn big for his size. And he looked like a shrimp compared to Morrissey. Good. You let him do it quick. You let him get it over with. And that's it. Now you move on. The question's going to be what they're going to do with him. Hopefully they got plans. That's what this entire review is about. Planning. Plans. If they don't have any plans for anybody, this is going to be stupid. Now, we had a little bit of El Fantasma from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, this is a thing I was worried about for quite a while that wouldn't happen because we haven't seen anybody from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, supposing we are getting someone from New Japan, the question is, what are they going to do with him? Finjuice was there tonight, which is good, but they didn't do anything. They didn't have a backstage segment, they didn't have a ring segment, and they didn't say who is the next number one contenders for the titles. So I'm hoping they will do that next week because we need it. Planning is required now. You finished Rebellion. You now have to start setting up the women's title, the Knockouts title, the Knockouts tag title, the X Division title, you now have to do something definitely with the world title. You got to get these things set up because you're going to get your fans pissed if you don't. So, yes, we are getting someone new coming in. The question's going to be, will he be used properly and will it mean something? I'm just saying. Now, we had a moment with Jordynne Grace with Rachel Ellering. Got them in my face. You guys tell me below, is Jordynne Grace looking more sexy than normal? Is she more beautiful than normal? Could it be that I wish she was mine? But she looked, I don't know what it was. Just something about her was more important than Rachel Ellering. And that doesn't seem right. Look, you have them both having an interview. And the person that seemed to stand out more in that interview between the two is not Rachel Ellering. It's Jordynne Grace. She looks like a champion. She's acting like a champion. But then when you look at Rachel Ellering, you don't feel it from her. And that's not a good thing. I don't know what it is. It could be because, yes, I've barely seen her and maybe that's the main issue. I've barely seen her. And that could be it. But once the Hood Rats show up, once Tasha Steelz and Akira Hogan, who is just, she just faded into the background. Unless they mentioned her, the one person that seemed to be more stronger in meaning something is Jordynne Grace. And that doesn't look well for her. And where was Jazz? Jazz should have been there and should have been talking with them and talking for them because she is now their mouthpiece. So maybe that is what is needed for Rachel Ellering. She needs a mouthpiece. She should not talk. The only one that should talk is either Jordynne Grace or Jazz. Rachel needs to work on her skills and her presentation. Because as you see her, she's incredibly plain. And I don't think that's going to work well with everybody. That's just me. And they are going to have a match at Under Siege for the titles. Fine. At least they're setting up for it. That's good. Now, Matt Cardona versus Brian Myers. The next match for the 6-way match at Under Siege. They tried to focus on Matt Cardona's knee because he did tweak it during Rebellion. That was fine. I was all right with that. And that's the way it's supposed to be. You want to give him sympathy. You want to give him something. But you got to be honest here, guys. And tell me if I'm wrong or not. Didn't it feel like it didn't mean anything? You want to know the reason why? It's one reason. One. No fans. I'm sorry. If they are moving their set somewhere else, I'm hoping they'll move it soon. And I hope they'll bring in fans. Because they need fans badly. The sound in the background of Can Pops and Heat did not work this way. It didn't feel like it worked. It didn't work. Period. Even the commentators tried their best and they did do a good job on this, but it needed fans there. And I really wish Mauro Ranallo had stayed. I'm hoping they're talking with him and say, Mauro, my boy, please. I know you're doing something with MMA and ESPN or something, whatever you're doing. Please, can you come and work with us for a while? Can you take a sabbatical from them and just work with us for 6 months to a year? We need you because they do need them. And I know Mauro, and I want to say this clearly, Mauro won't go there because of money. If he cared about money, he could go back to WWE. And particularly, they really need him. With, what is the guy, Burke? The other guy, Vert, whatever his name is? The baseball commentator. He's not working. He's not. They really need Mauro back. And I know Mauro could get money from AEW. Mauro can get money from WWE. But this would not be about money. This would be about helping your friend and doing something for a product that you may love. I'm just saying. Eric Young had his moment talking about violence by design and how we're going to make things right. Dina lost to Storm. Eric lost to Storm. He's not being punished, Dina. He's making it very clear. We must make sure that the disease, the sickness, does not improve itself. Because at this point, being so strong, it is incredibly dangerous. But we can counteract it. We will counteract it. It will happen. And Rhino next week is one of those who's going to get into that match. Well, he's going to have to face whoever he's going to be facing in the match next week to go into the 6-man I really don't like the 6-man thing, but I understand why they're doing it because they got to make it mean something with some of the most prominent people there. They need it. So, seeing that he's going to be in the next qualifying match makes sense. Now, and I keep clapping my hand. Sorry, guys. Let's see, what am I forgetting? Let's see here. Let's go straight into the last match. If I'm forgetting anything, I'm sorry. We had Eddie Edwards versus Sami Callihan. This is the last match of the night, and it's also the last qualifying match of the night to get into the 6-way match at Under Siege. It was what it was. It was these guys going up against... I've seen Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan enough. I want to see Sami Callihan go up against somebody else. I want to see Eddie Edwards go up against somebody else. I want to see Eddie Edwards go up against El Fantasma. I want to see... Well, let's see Sammy go up against somebody like a Jon Moxley. Something different. I don't want to see these guys together. And I know people say, oh, I can watch them all day long. Well, guess what? You have. How many times have they challenged one another in a while? You need to break them apart. And I understood why they did this, because they wanted to do something with Sammy. Because Sammy, along with Moose, because next week Moose, he has to get his match as well. So Sammy and Moose approached Scott D'Amore early in the night and voicing their opinions. Moose clearly wanted to make sure that Scott understood, if this doesn't go the way I want, I'm going to whoop your ass. And then Storm pretty much said, I have a match with you next week. And I'm handing you 2 bags because if I'm going to whoop your ass, you need 2 bags of lunch to get your ass whooping. Honestly, I've never heard that, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And then you got Sammy, who made the most impactful talk to Don Callis, making it very clear that when your boy comes, make him understand, I'm coming for him. I am coming for him. Because this place belongs to me. He didn't say it like that, but that's what it comes down to. He has been the draw of Impact Wrestling. So when the match happened, and unfortunately, my internet became a little crappy. So I kind of lost the stream a little bit once it came to watching it. And that I had just came back from going to the bathroom. I had to go to the bathroom. So as I came back and I sat down, it was almost time, nearing an end. It kind of faded out a little bit. I scrambled a little bit. And then when it came back, pretty much Kenny, along with the rest of the Good Brothers and Don, were already beating down a Eddie Edwards and a Sami Callihan. So I'm taking a guess, nobody won the match. You guys tell me below if I'm wrong, that maybe Sammy won the match, because between the two, the one that should win the match should be Sammy. But if I'm right, neither one of them won. So they'll have to do a rematch next week, which would make the best sense. Unless they're going to add them to the match, and it'll be an 8-man, which I don't think they're going to do that. It'll be a 6-man, so they're going to get a second shot at it, unless they're not. But they beat them down, and Kenny, who was told from the very Don was told from the very beginning by Scott, there in my face, if Kenny's not here, he's going to be stripped of the title. He will be basically suspended indefinitely from Impact, and the title will be up for grabs at Under Siege. The 6-way match for number 1 contender will switch to a 6-way match for the title, so he better be there that night. So they tried to hype that part up to plan for this, which is what you got. You got Kenny coming in just before the end of the show, a couple of minutes before. He beats up the last 2 people who are trying to get the shot to get into the 6-man way. I'm glad that Kenny was there. I am glad that he beat down possibly both of them, and it was a no contest because they couldn't continue because it was interfered with. The question's going to be for me and many people who are watching this, and I know many of you are frustrated right now. I saw one of my subscribers say, maybe this is only a deal where Impact is only getting it and AEW's not involved. Well, guess what? Again, as I said, if it's true that AEW will not show any content from Impact Wrestling or even talk about them, that is all contained on Impact, whose fault is that? It's Impact's fault. If this wasn't set up by AEW, then it's Impact's fault for agreeing to it. If AEW didn't make this decision and it's going to be only for Impact, this is Impact's fault. Flat out, no matter what, Impact made the deal. I know I'm going to hear again from my subscribers saying, you're not understanding. Even though they don't say that, they're saying that AEW screwing Impact. Well, guess what, my friend? Impact has been screwed multiple times. And every time they never gain anything. And in this situation, even if AEW approached them, I want to make this clear. From what has been stated, AEW approached Impact. It doesn't make a difference. Impact signed off on this. They decided to go with whatever was decided between the two companies and the two owners of the companies. They made this decision. The owner made the decision, and they've been going with it. So you cannot leave Impact out of this. If you keep leaving Impact out, you're being very, very close-minded. And I'm not saying you guys are, but I am telling you the truth. If Impact gains nothing out of this, it's their fault for making this again about bad booking, bad decision-making, flat out. And we have the right to poon them along with AEW, who also screwed them by either making this decision not to work with them or agreeing to a decision not to do anything between the two companies. They should have walked away because AEW really needs Impact Wrestling on their show to give them something extra. And if they decided not to walk away, they're also to blame. This is what you get. And I hope you enjoyed this Zane's View. Please give me a comment below. You will be seeing my Gump report, and it's guess who? The Miz. I did watch the Miz documentary, so you will be watching my thoughts on that documentary. Peace.